My name is David. I've been doing business in the Philippines for 2 decades, and we're going to talk about the big three rumors expats believe that are, well, totally farging untrue. The first is it is illegal as a foreigner to be alone with your girlfriend's children. The second is if you live in the Philippines, your home country will cancel your cell phone service. And the third is if you live in the Philippines, they will cancel your bank accounts back home. Let's look at bank accounts. Will your accounts get canceled? No. Charles Schwab. As a company, Charles Schwab will convert your US, Canadian, or UK account to an international account if you no longer live in your home country. You still get the free ATM withdrawals. Sorry, American dudes, if you don't live in America, there's no FDIC insurance to keep a valid address in your home country or get your kids an ATM card on your Schwab account. They'll never change your account to an international Schwab account. Now, I have heard stories about expats losing bank access. Banks block access all the time because of fraud algorithms. I opened a Wells Fargo checking account to get a free $300 sign up bonus. I just had to point my direct deposit at the Wells Fargo account. After 1 week, Wells Fargo blocked me transferring my money to Chase Bank account. I had to go into Wells Fargo, show my ID, and they unlocked my account. The next week, Wells Fargo locked the account again. I went into the branch again. I got the account unlocked. Then they locked the account for a third time. I was on the phone with Wells Fargo. A woman asked, well, what do you want to do with this money? I mean, it's my paycheck, like pay my electric bill. So, of course, I said something snarky like, I need the money for Bookers and Slow. I used different words. I didn't say Bookers and Slow. Do the math. I said something kind of mean. The Wells Fargo lady hung up on me. I went into the Wells Fargo branch again. I closed my account. They gave me a cashier's check. I had no faith that check would cash. I insisted they cash the check at the Wells Fargo branch, so I had physical US dollars to take to another bank. All that happened in California. If I was in Dumaguete, Cebu, or Davao, how the heck would I have handled that remotely? Banks do not close your accounts because you live in the Philippines. What about cell service? Do carriers just turn it off? My phones have their cell data turned off in the Philippines. I just go to my condo and I use Wi-Fi to send texts and make calls so I don't get charged. Google Fi will turn off data after 90 days. I'm told this, but cell carriers want your money. Everybody has a Mint or T-Mobile phone and our numbers are active as long as we pay. Cell carriers make mistakes like banks, and it's hard to fix screw ups from overseas. Now, the silliest expat rumor out there is you cannot be alone with the kids of your girlfriend if they're under 18. This rumor is passed by numbskulls like this. This guy, he lived in a place called Joya Lofts in Rockwell. He had like 5 videos discussing Joya Lofts. I owned a condo in Hoya Lofts, Rockwell. Like Juan, Jose, Jorge. In case you didn't know, Hoya is the name of a Filipino artist. Now, the same numbskull says this about divorce.
Thing to know if you're a foreigner watching this is it's very hard to get a divorce if you are married within the Philippines itself.
You know that isn't true. Muslims can get a divorce in the Philippines. Christians must get annulments. This guy's a YouTuber. He doesn't know what Google is. Here's the same guy talking about you cannot be alone with kids under 18.
Is if you're a man who's dating a Filipina and she has a child, make sure that you are never alone with the child. If the daughter or son of your Filipina girlfriend or wife is less than 18 years of age, it's illegal for you to be alone with their kid.
He said you cannot be alone with your wife's kids if they're under 18. Does he actually believe that? With your wife's kids, you're married to a woman and you cannot be alone with her kids. What country would have that law? When my kid was 5, okay, it was my wife's kid. The kid was 5, but she calls me dad. My kid bit a kid in the park in a fight over a scooter. I looked at my wife. My wife nodded at me, which meant we were going full blown badass parent on the kid. I picked up my 5-year old. The wife is behind me, dragging the scooter. The kid's screaming, I want my mommy. Let me go. The kid is biting me. I had teeth marks. Each time a group of Filipinos kind of looked at me because I'm carrying a little Filipino kid, and they'd like give me this look, I'd say, oh, she bit a kid in the park. And the concerned Filipinos would just, oh, yeah. And they'd walk away. I walked by dozens of security guards. No one thought I was abusing the kids. No one called the police. No, the day after I had security guards asking me about what happened, I told them she bit a kid in the park and they thought it was funny. I didn't hit the kid. I'm not going to get into that. But I had no fear that it was illegal to be with my kid under 18. There's no such law. A couple weeks later, my wife went out with her friends to watch the Taylor Swift movie, whatever the heck that was. I was alone with the kid. The kid was sleeping. But even so, I wasn't worried about a law. The law people think bans you from being with kids is called Republic Act 11648, Section 10. The law does not say men anywhere. The law does not say foreigner. The law talks about a person who can be alone with a kid. The same law applies to my wife's friend Rexy from this video. The same law applies to a nanny because they are a person. It never says husband. It never says boyfriend. It never says David, the 59-year-old American. It says person. The law says it's legal to be with a kid if you're a fourth degree of consanguinity with the kid, which means your cousin, a great grandparent, an aunt, or an uncle. That's legal. Well, what about the other 95% of adults like me, nuns, Toys R Us employees, babysitters, teachers, my wife's friend Rexy with the two naughty nannies, tutors, and nannies, yayas? The ban on being alone with a kid shall not apply to any affinity recognized by law, local custom and tradition, or acts in performance of social or moral or legal duty. Huh? Sounds kind of confusing. Say I need to go to the hospital with my wife. I get my friend Rick to watch the kids. Now, Rick would freak out with a 7-year-old and twin babies. He's, 62? But it's an emergency. I need Rick. Is it legal? Well, my friend Rick has an affinity. He is my friend. Babysitting is recognized as a local custom in performance of social, moral, and legal duty. You don't leave kids at home without an adult. My 60-plus-year-old American friend can babysit my children so I could rush to the hospital. What you can't do with a kid is bad stuff. You can't get a kid so scared and then make a YouTube video showing, oh, here's a crying, terrified kid. Ha ha ha, stupid YouTube video. That's not recognized as a local custom in performance of social, moral, or legal duty. You've broken the law by tormenting a kid. All the law says is that normal stuff is okay. And it does itemize things like, well, you shouldn't take a kid to bars or massage parlors. I mean, can we agree that kids shouldn't be hanging out in bars and massage parlors? Back to this guy in his channel. He is half my age. And to get views, he shows off his girlfriend exercising in the back of his videos wearing spandex. My wife is hotter than this chump's girlfriend, and my wife's derriere is just elite. Completely surpasses this guy's girlfriend. There are other YouTube channels that have reviewed the same law. Some of them think the exact opposite of my analysis, except they never looked at the obvious wording. The law applies to every person. I did consult a lawyer on this topic. I told him, a lot of foreigners think you can't be alone with your wife's kids or your girlfriend's kids. And he started laughing. He's like, why would anyone think that? That makes no sense and has no benefit to society. He couldn't stop cracking up. I never believed it. I had read the law. I didn't believe it, but he didn't even want to. He's like, I'm not even going to go on your channel. It's too stupid. So I couldn't even get a lawyer to go on to talk about this topic. I will make mistakes in my channel, but I will always try to be accurate. Catch you in the next one. The official video's over with. I was asked a question in the comments as to why I look constipated in my YouTube video thumbnails. There is a philosophy with YouTube thumbnails that you should make some kind of like emotional look so you attract viewers. I'm leaving the Philippines and I'm sad or I'm upset. Well, I go through my videos, I pick kind of a serious face shot of mine, then I make a copy of that face shot, I remove the background, and I put it on a thumbnail. I'm not trying to make some really interesting case. I'm not handsome. I'm an old man, almost an old man. I'm getting close. But I just slapped something up that's from my video without being over the top or goofy. Anyways, out.